I just figured out a method to teleport in vanilla survival Minecraft, and we can go 10,000 blocks in 10 seconds. And I'm going to show you how you can too. And so I came upon this idea using two Minecraft mechanics that are sometimes overlooked, and those are chunk loading and ender pearl stasis chambers. Now, using these two ideas, I was able to create a teleporter that could travel you an infinite amount of blocks. And this doesn't require any other players, so it can be done on a single player world. So if we take a look at the x coordinate, we're at -262. Now if we press the button, we will be teleported within 10 seconds. So I hooked up a bit of a countdown here just with some redstone timing and repeaters out the back. So we just have to wait for the lights to come on. So 3, 2, 1, and you can see that we've been teleported to -10,264. So ender pearl stasis chambers aren't new, but what I have discovered is a way that you can do this just by yourself. So let's start off by looking at ender pearl stasis chambers. And for those of you that don't know, if you throw an ender pearl into bubbling water or water with soul sand at the bottom, the ender pearl will just float there, remaining active, but it will not teleport the player until it touches something else like a block. And when the ender pearl is updated, the player will teleport to that location. Now, this allows us to throw an ender pearl and remain active, and then we can trigger this ender pearl to teleport us at any time we want through a redstone line. And secondly, we have chunk loaders. Now, the Minecraft world is composed of chunks, and these are 16 by 16 areas of blocks that go all the way down and all the way up. And when a player is in a world, they will load up a certain amount of chunks around them. And depending on the render distance, this will change. Redstone or mechanics outside of these loaded chunks will not be active. But a way we can bypass this is with a chunk loader. And so here is a chunk loader, and while it doesn't look like much, this machine is loading up a 5x5 area of chunks around it in which we can conduct redstone. And how this works is that an item gets pushed through the nether portal, and then there's a machine on the other side in the nether that pushes an item back into the overworld. And so when an item goes through a nether portal, it will temporarily load the other side for a certain amount of time. And so by throwing items in and out of the nether portal, we're able to have this area of constant chunk loading. Therefore, if we build our redstone contraption within the 5x5 area of the chunk loader, then that redstone contraption will be loaded 24/7, even if it's not within the chunks loaded by the player themselves. So what makes this design unique is that it does not require two players. It can be done on a single player world, or it can even be done on a server if you're just by yourself. And then that's where my machine comes in. So after learning about these mechanics, I was able to build a single player teleporter that can travel you any distance in 10 seconds. So let's jump in and see how it works. So here is the first part. We simply have a button attached to a dispenser, which is going to throw an item into the nether. And when the items come through, they're going to be picked up by the hoppers, and then those are going to go into a dropper here, which will just shoot the item into the lava. And then that comparator will be activated and send our redstone signal down the line. Now you'll notice that we also have these chunk loaders in the nether all along the path of our line. And this is to keep that redstone signal active even when we aren't in the nether. And then we have our chunk loaders spaced out every 5 chunks in the nether, and that will keep our redstone line active. And then this line continues for 1,250 blocks, which translates to 10,000 blocks in the overworld. And you can see there's a redstone line on the opposite side, and that is for the way back. So by hooking up 2 lines like this, we can have a dual teleportation system. And then at the end of our line here, we have a dropper that shoots an item into the nether portal. And that item is going to be picked up on the other side in the overworld. And so you can see if we go through this nether portal, we will end up at our final location of -10,261. And so that item that we shot through the nether portal is going to go into the hopper line there, and then into the dropper on this side. That will activate our comparator, activating our ender pearl stasis chamber, teleporting us our 10,000 blocks. So the reason for the 10-second delay is simply because of our long redstone line through the nether, so all the redstone has to activate in time. Now, the thing is, this design is fully expandable. You could make this as long as you want. And then the only setup to restart the system is to throw your ender pearl into the stasis chamber. So you take your ender pearl, throw it downwards, and then you can have a barrel on the side, and that way you just have a storage of ender pearls ready to use. And not only can you travel one way and one way back, But you could set up a system like I have here, where you have an array of buttons, and clicking each one would take you to a different location anywhere in your world. And the way I did this is with an item sorter. So each button would shoot out a different item into your nether portal. And then in the nether, we would have the item sorter, which would activate a different redstone line. If we activate site 3, you can see that site 3 would be activated. And then this could be done for an infinite number of lines, and each line can have an infinite distance that it travels. So what are the implications of such a system? Well, this now allows players to travel anywhere in their world almost instantaneously. And not only can it be one location and one location back, you could have this going anywhere in your world with just the click of a button. The travel time is near instantaneous with 10 seconds, and unlike other previous designs, this now allows you to travel single-handedly. You do not need the help of another player. You do not need a player clicking a button 10,000 blocks away. This lets you, as an individual, travel anywhere in your world without even going through the nether. So this design is still a work in progress, and one thing to mention is that with this current chunk loader design, when you log off of a single player world, sometimes the chunk loaders will stop functioning and they just require a reset when you come back on. Now if you're on a server that is running 24/7, you shouldn't run into this problem, but I will leave multiple links for tutorials for different chunk loader designs down in the description, just in case. And secondly, if you want to build this design in your own world, just follow along with the steps that I laid out earlier. And then as for the chunk loaders themselves, I didn't come up with those designs. So if you do want to see a tutorial, they are by Gnembon, and then there's also one by SnowyBlizzard. These are two great designs that both work well, and the links will be in the description if you do want to build them. It's a block by block tutorial, and they're great videos, so I would check them out. And that's going to do it for this video. I did hope you learned something new and took something away from this. And if you want to see an updated version in the future, just let me know down below. But that's going to do it for today, and see you in the next one.